back of the head.
And he's going for the finish.
She'll offer you homemade pie. Frozen berry. Punch it. Grab the zip line and, well, you'll see. Oh, look at her. Hang on, John. She just might. Oh, fun for the whole family. Oh. Oh, she pulled up for easy Dewey Decimal System. Oh, I think she stamped her head.
That's at least
Oh, it plowed from behind. Well, that's the City Works Department for you. All that's left to do now is spring himself into the wipeout zone. Oh, right in the joystick. Oh, after that collision, Donkey Kong probably feeling more like Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, I got the perfect call for a bingo clerk. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Coach Michael is up, and
Late hit. Let's see it again. The football coach, a lot of heart.
yeah, but the platform.
The kick made a joy right behind her. Ow! Oh,
Yep, she needs herself in the face.
oh my God! Take a look at that super slow-mo for the rest of the show.
Hey, I guess that's
Afraid to know what's worse.
not the board gamer.
Yeah. So wipe out only a mother can love.
You know why I love this obstacle?
Why is that?
Because it's a family of 4 spinning pitchforks that doesn't show favor. Like take Philadelphia natives Tom and Colleen Campbell, for example. It treats father just like daughter. I can't stop talking about it now.
Well, you have to, Johnny, because our next contestants are Unjovi, halfway there, living on a prayer.
Oh, a shot to the groin and the back and the
Have Jenica Farley. Wow, amazing.
shifter.
Oh. Oh, headed for the finish. Oh, just ahead of the new motivator, Johnny. Oh, got a free kick to the back of the head.
And he's going for the finish.
She'll offer you homemade pie. Frozen berry. Punch it. Grab the zip line and, well, you'll see. Oh, look at her. Hang on, John. She just might. Oh, fun for the whole family. Oh. She pulled up for easy Dewey Decimal System. Oh, I think she stamped her head.
That's at least
Oh, it plowed from behind. Well, that's the City Works Department for you. All that's left to do now is spring himself into the wipeout zone. Oh, right in the joystick. Oh, after that collision, Donkey Kong probably feeling more like Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, I got the perfect call for a bingo clerk. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Coach Michael is up, and
Late hit. Let's see it again. The football coach, a lot of heart.
yeah, but the platform.
The kick made a joy right behind her. Ow! Oh.
Yep, she needs herself in the face.
Oh my God! Take a look at that super slow-mo for the rest of the show.
Hey, I guess that's
Afraid to know what's worse.
not the board gamer.
Yeah. So wipe out only a mother can love.
You know why I love this obstacle?
Why is that?
Because it's a family of 4 spinning pitchforks that doesn't show favor. Like take Philadelphia natives Tom and Colleen Campbell, for example. It treats father just like daughter. I can't stop talking about it now.
Well, you have to, Johnny, because our next contestants are Unjovi, halfway there, living on a prayer.
Oh, a shot to the groin and the back and the
Have Jenica Farley. Wow, amazing.
shifter.
Oh. Oh, headed for the finish. Oh, just ahead of the new motivator, Johnny. Oh, got a free kick to the back of the head.
And he's going for the finish.
She'll offer you homemade pie. Frozen berry. Punch it. Grab the zip line and, well, you'll see. Oh, look at her. Hang on, John. She just might. Oh, fun for the whole family. Oh. She pulled up for easy Dewey Decimal.
Some good music.
Oh, this reminds me of mid-2000s, man.
I got 2 news. I'm loving the intro music. I think it's a great addition.
I love me some Manic Drive, man. They're a great band. They're a great band. Welcome, guys. We are only two of us today, which is why there's me on two screens.
I love this. I don't know why I'm doing this more so because I can. I think is the only reason. Oh wait, and Davey says Sam. I didn't change that. So
yeah, I didn't want to point it out earlier because you were very busy. But if I say something really like controversial, Sam's going to get lots of flack for it later. Maybe that's a good thing.
All right. I don't know. I mean, maybe just dumb your answers down a little bit, so it's more like Sam sitting there. I think would help.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah. I'll try and get a bit more ginger as we go on as well.
Okay, that's really good. But we actually, man, I'm glad you guys are with us. Those that are watching right now. We've all had really busy weeks, which is why Sam isn't here. We almost decided to cancel. I'm like, you know what? I think we've got enough that we want to talk to you about today and just share with you and have fun with you that we still want to go on, even if it's only for 20 or 30 minutes, because we just love doing this and love being with you. Now, Sam, I said Sam because I just see Sam on your picture. Now, Davey, anything exciting you've been up to in quarantine? Anything crazy happening right now, or is it just...
Oh, man, I mean, there's so much going on. For a time when it's like you're stuck in your own house, there's so much going on. Like, a really funny story. I broke our door. You can kind of see our hallway just here, because I broke our door the other day.
You broke your door?
It's
on
broken
purpose
for a while.
Or on accident?
No, on purpose. I didn't actually do anything, but the hinges has been a bit loose for a while, and in a fit of rage, no, that's not true at all, I just opened the door and it just kind of came off, so I had to take the whole thing off. Which was, it kind of gives a really lovely flow through the house now. That's what I keep telling myself. So everything is very open and breezy and airy. So, yeah, I mean, there's always a positive thing to look at.
Well, that's a very American way of doing things. We love the open floor plans. When we bought our house in the States, we actually knocked the wall out because we wanted that open, just flowing feel. So, I mean, hey, it's just the American influence I have on you that's coming out that you want that wonderful.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I knew there was something. I knew there was a reason.
Now, are you getting out very much?
How's the family?
Family's doing good though. Kids still bouncing off the walls. Anyone with kids or that is a kid, you understand that you just want to be outside playing. You want to be with your friends. You actually probably want to be back to school. I think it's something for those kids that maybe haven't liked school. I'll bet you are itching to go back to school at some point because there's only so much inside you can take. And there's only so much lockdown you can take. And my kids are actually itching to go back to school because they want to be with their friends. They want to be back in that structure that school provides and get away from mommy and daddy. I think also is part of what they want to get away from.
I think it's part of it. It's a little bit of seeing your friends, isn't it? That's the thing that I think I'm missing the most. I'm quite happy being inside working from home, but I really just miss going and hanging out with my mates and just chatting and seeing other people. That's the thing that sucks the most, I think.
Well, yeah, because there's only so much Zoom chatting. This is great and all, and you can connect in this manner. But it's just not the same intimacy that you get from sitting, going to a pub, or just going to a restaurant, or just meeting at home, and just gathering with your friends and family. But I have actually been getting out quite a bit. I do a lot of shopping for people in our church, and when I go outside, usually it's something like this. Those were two of my shopping trips.
Cool.
Of course, my wife has the big panda head, and I went skipping down the street, and I was just like this really happy panda, not saying anything, and all the parents were showing their kids to me, hey, look at the panda, and it was fun. And you gotta cover your face, which is what I was doing, which what the government tells us to do. So that's why I did that. That is shopping in 2020. I got a lot of stuff.
And do you remember when they used to say you weren't allowed to wear hoods or hats or sunglasses or anything in shops? And now it's the complete opposite. They're like, you have to wear a hood. You have to wear something over your face.
Although I did kind of freak out the security guard going into the co-op with the panda head. He was not really liking the fact that I was fully covered. And although Sainsbury didn't mind the Deadpool when I went to Sainsbury's with the Deadpool mask, they were fine with that.
They probably didn't notice any difference.
Yeah, probably not. Not really at all. Now, have you been, how are you and your wife? Are you guys getting along okay? Is it making that, better, worse? Do you enjoy that closeness? Is that...
We're doing all right, yeah. We've known each other for a very, very long time, and so when one of us is getting a bit annoyed at the other, we've learned how to give each other a bit of space and come to agreement on things that we may not necessarily agree on. So we're doing okay. How are you doing?
I think we're all right. I mean, when we got married, the first couple years of our marriage, we worked together at the Salvation Army as well, sharing an office. And so the working from home thing and sharing space has always been something we've been used to. And it's not something we've done in a while, but it's still something that we started out doing. And I missed working together in the same church with my wife. And so it's really nice kind of being in the same space again and having, this togetherness again.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, and we're not getting in too much trouble. I came across people trying to do some dances in the house, and they don't turn out as well as they'd like.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're trying to do things together, it's good that you know your spatial awareness, all right? You don't want to be, whacking your wives in the face with pans. That could really hurt.
That could cause some marital distress, I think.
A bit. But we've been okay though otherwise. And I don't know if you guys, again, we are Youth Remixed here. We like to encourage you to send stuff. If you have anything that you would like to share, we'd love to see it though. If you've been filming your daily activities, your attempts at TikTok challenges just aren't working, it's which way do I point? Wait, I gotta do like this.
You got to do two. I got to do this.
Up and over. Yeah, to make that really work right. So yeah, if you guys want to send stuff in, we love seeing how you're doing stuff. But one of the really good things, though, I think about all of this is it really has encouraged people to find the ways to stay connected, though, where you're more intentional about those times of staying connected. And I just got off, I was on a Zoom conference most of the morning into the afternoon. And it was just really a time of how are you doing, encouragement and prayer, and finding ways that we can still be connected to each other and stay connected to our communities. And that's something that, as someone in ministry, that we really try to do and try to make sure that we're staying that way.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's so good to just be talking to other people, because you can get stuck in your own little bubble, can't you? It's so easy just to be like, oh, I do my thing and then I go home, or I switch off. But actually talking to other people is such a positive thing to do at the time like this. Yeah, for sure.
And I have noticed even more and more people, even if they're not believers, if they don't maybe have a necessary faith of their own, are still seeking out spiritual content and influences online, because this is a really uncertain time. One of the churches I was a part of in the States, they were a big church to start with. They would average about 10,000, 15,000 viewers on online services per week. It's gone up to 140,000 in the last month. And so it's something where it just shows that people are searching for answers. They're searching for a reason. And I don't know, where you sit or what you're thinking, about. But guys, there is a God that has all of this. There is a God that's in control of all this. And does he... I mean, one of those big questions you could ask is, if God loves us, why is there pain? If God loves us, why is there tragedy? And all I can say to that, and I think I've talked about this before, is that through all of this, what I've seen God do in every point in my life where there's been something that I have thought was either terrible or a tragedy or bringing me down, is that God has kind of carried me through it. And usually I come out stronger on the other side, where I don't know. I don't think our God wants us to go through pain, but He can use that pain to build us up, and He can use the situations we go through to make us stronger, and sometimes even help us to see Him for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Sean, I think your audio is having a bit of problems according to some of the comments. But I totally agree. I think that this is such an interesting time, because it's. I heard a stat the other day that 1 in 4 people in the UK under 30 have attended an online service or visited a live stream like this for a church event, and I think that's amazing. I think it's such a good time to ask questions and really seek something. And hey, maybe if you're watching this and you are seeking, hey, feel free to talk to us. Feel free to throw us your questions. We may not be able to answer them, but we'll try our best. And at the end of the day, God is bigger than all of us, and there's always something good that comes out of it. So yeah, make sure you don't miss this opportunity to ask some questions.
No, for sure. I don't know. It's something where I think if you have the questions, like Davey said, just ask them. There are people that want to answer. And if you want to chat anonymously, I know I've talked about this before. There's an organization that has a website called chatnow.org. It's totally anonymous. They are faith-based, but they're working with people of all faiths or none. Just if you need to talk, if you need to have someone to share with. But if you do have those deeper questions, if you do have those, and just you want to know what's going on, and you want to know is there a God, is there not a God, all these bigger questions in life, they're there to talk with you. And again, that's chatnow.org.
You're reverbing because you're on 2 different screens.
Right.
Oh yeah, I might have to check my audio sources here.
I think you might have two audio sources, one from your camera and one from your mic.
It's possible. Maybe we'll check a little bit here. It shouldn't be, but...
We really need to have 2 different...
Yeah, but anyway, there's lots of good questions to ask at the moment, and I hope you're getting a chance to do that. Maybe if you are a teenager or a young adult and you're living with people, so maybe you're living with your parents, and is a good time to actually sit down and have a proper conversation with them. Because I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, by the time I got to about 14 or 15, I didn't really spend a lot of time with my parents, and I didn't actually sit down with them an awful lot and be like, what do you think about this? And when I left home, so I left home at 17, I found myself asking those questions as often as I could whenever we visited them or they came down to see me. I found myself asking my mum and dad, what do you think about this? What about this? And that was massively helpful for our relationship. But also, it taught me a whole bunch of stuff after the fact. So I highly recommend that you use this time to sit with your mum and dad and be like, what do you think about this? And hey, it's okay not to always agree with them as well. It's okay to be like, actually, mum and dad, I respect you, I love you, but I don't think that's what I believe. And that's fine too.
Yeah.
I certainly don't believe all the same things as my parents, but I really love the fact that we can talk about it. So make sure you do that.
Yeah. And if it's something even where, you're struggling with your mental health as well, which I think can happen when we're kind of locked inside. I gotta ask a question to a lot of you might know who Zachary Levi is, and I was lucky enough to get into a Zoom chat with him the other day. And one of the questions that I asked just had to do with, if you could give that one bit of advice, and I'll show the interview here in a second, at least that clip. Like what's your advice on people that are struggling with this? Because to me, he's always someone that's actually been really pushing forth the idea of we need to take care of our mental health. And he's a strong man of faith. And just the way that he answers this question, it's really, really good. And I want to show it. And then, Davey, you and I can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
Let me just go ahead and bring that up, and then we'll discuss when it's over. Hey, it's me?
What time is it right now?
Who's on?
What's up? Hi. Hey.
How you doing, Zach?
Deadpool. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a random thing that came about when I was in a competition for a Ryan Reynolds movie poster, and it's kind of stuck with me. But anyways, man.
You look like you got like a proper podcast studio in there, bro.
Well, my wife and I were youth workers. We podcast. We do a lot to reach teens, so it's kind of one of the things that we do, and it's pretty cool, man.
Copy that. Nice.
I just had one question for you. Since we do work with teens, I got my wife and kids here. We actually got my kids into Chuck. Sorry, it's not the question, but they're loving it right now, by the way.
Well, they can come around and wave or something.
Come on, Easy. Come say hi to Zach.
At least wave.
He can wave. Get in there and wave.
Looks like you got a little Chuck robe on.
A Chuck? Oh yeah, he's got his Chuck robe going. We'll go with that. No, but just one thing for all the teens we work with that are struggling with depression and anxiety. What's one just good piece of advice? I know you bang the mental health drum, and I love that because I direct people to you all the time about, hey, look what this guy has to say because he's got awesome stuff. So what's that one thing
cheers,
that
thanks, man.
no problem, man. What's that one thing that you would give teens and kids and those that kind of struggle with anxiety and mental health right now?
Well, honestly, I know that I kind of sound like I'm kicking a dead horse when I say this, because I say it more than anything else, because I think honestly it's the root of, or at least one of the main ingredients of whatever the root of all of our anxieties and depressions and stresses and anything that's affecting us negatively, mentally or emotionally or physically, because it can manifest physically sometimes, often. Sometimes, often. I don't know.
Just go with it, man. It's fine.
But the root, I really truly believe the root is that we need to love ourselves more, and
Amen,
we are just unfortunately not taught to love ourselves more. And I can see the cross back on your wall there. A lot of people who grow up in very Christian homes never learned how to grow up learning to love themselves, because I just don't think I legitimately don't think that humans have been listening to God enough for long enough to understand what it means to be eternally and forever loved. We keep putting all of these subjective like benchmarks on that. If you can meet this, if you can be this, if you can whatever that is, then you can be loved. And including even our own religions that we put on people, like, well, if you just believe in this, then God will love you. Then that, and I don't believe that, not for a heartbeat. Because if we believe in the eternal, ever present and never leaving us love of our Creator, then that's it. That's the bottom line. And if you can genuinely like grab onto that, and I'm not even trying to profess any particular religion or anything. I'm just saying, just believe that there is an author of all of this, and that author is for you, and you have an inherent and infinite value in you. We are both, I believe, infinitely valuable and entirely unimportant. We are both those things. Yeah. And if we can accept that, it actually brings a whole bunch of peace to your life, because you realize that you are entirely lovable, which means you can be patient with yourself and kind with yourself and empathetic with yourself and love yourself, value yourself, not chide and chastise yourself like we do, because we learned that from our parents who learned it from their parents and so on and so forth. So not only can you calm a lot of those anxieties and stresses and things, fears, through just loving yourself, but then also accepting that you are entirely unimportant. The world is not made or broken by your existing in it. The fact that you exist in it is a miracle and an amazing one, and you have infinite possibility and potential in you that God can use for all and any purposes. But we're also all of us, infinitely small specks of sand on an infinitely large mosaic made up of infinitely small specks of sands. You know what I mean? Like, and that allows us to kind of let the pressures of all this life drop off of us and go, wow, I'm not the one holding up the world. I'm not even the one holding up my own world, for that matter. I just need to love my world. I need to appreciate my world. I need to be grateful for my world that I've been given. It's finite. I'm here and I'm gone. We're, so if we can wrap our heads around these concepts, I really think that we can get back to being better, stronger people. And then collectively, we will be better and stronger as a society and as a people group.
Yeah, I mean, it's never beating a dead horse, man. People need to hear that, and I think it's amazing. So keep banging that drum, dude, because it helps a whole lot of people. And we all really
I won't stop,
it, man.
I won't stop. I won't stop until it's all solved, and I don't think it'll all be solved in my lifetime, so I won't stop.
No, love you, man. God bless you, though, bro. And here was where I got that dad pool moniker. That's what I turned in, so that's kind of where it started.
Word.
my kids beating up on me, and anyways, yeah. Love you, though,
man.
Very
cool, man. Take it easy.
You. All right, so
nice, man.
So that was man. There's so much to unpack in what he says, though. Like he has a lot that he gets on. I mean, one of my favorites is, that it doesn't matter. God's love for you is not dependent on what you believe, because that's not what God says, become a Christian and I'll love you. No, I mean, he's talking about, we just need to understand there is an author to all of this, an author to this life that we're all living. And that's it. That God's love starts with just understanding that he's there. And even it's before that, because again, nothing that we do starts or stops that tap of God's love. And so just how he wrapped that all up. And I'm not sure what really jumped out at you in that, but to me, it was like God loves you. And that's never what Christians profess. It's just understanding there's an author to all of this, an author to your life. And again, so I don't know what jumped out at you in what he said there.
I mean, I love how he wraps up that idea that we are infinitely valuable to God, but we're also infinitely tiny. Like, just in that idea that, you are so loved by your Creator, that all of the stuff that he's done for us, it's amazing. But also, our time and our lives are just a speck. Like, there's been however many hundred thousands of years, millions of years maybe, then, and yet your life is, 80 years, if that, if you're lucky. And I think that is something we forget, because we want to find value. And so when you think about that, sometimes that freaks you out, because obviously no one wants to be insignificant. But I love the way he said that you are so valuable and you are worth loving. And I think that's something that often, I don't know about you, Sean, but I forget that sometimes. Sometimes I'm really hard on myself because I'm not living up to these rules that have been made up by someone, or I think God will stop loving me because I've screwed it up.
Yeah.
And that's just not at all the case in any way. It says in Psalm 139, before I formed you, I knew you. And so God cared enough, not just to put us together and leave us alone, but to know us. It just perfectly create us and know us exactly who we are and how we are. And it says that he loves us and all of that stuff that you've probably heard a million times, especially if you've grown up in the church like I did. But when you realize that God formed you, he knows you, he loves you intimately, and that actually the world does not rely on you either, you can kind of accept that. I love the way you put that. That was really cool.
Yeah. And even just starting with, hey, you got to love yourself. And now he didn't necessarily say it, but in loving ourselves, we're loving what the Creator made, because he created us a specific way. God made me the way I am for a purpose. And God's made all of you the way you are for a purpose. Only you can reach the people that are around you that you know. I can't reach the people that you know. I can't be around to help the people that you know. You have an influence in your life that nobody else has, because God made you and put you there in that place for that influence. And so he's like, you know what? So start by loving yourself. And even in Christian homes, again, a lot of times that loving ourselves isn't shown. It says, well, if we do this, this, and this, and then that makes us a good Christian, and then we can feel loved and be loved. And it's no, you were created special, and because of that, you need to understand that you need to love that, because God made you in a loving, amazing way for a purpose. And so again, so much to unpack in just like a 4-minute segment that he gave there. But I really hope you guys were blessed by that, because it blessed me. And if you don't know much about Zachary Levi and what he professes, man, he is a man of faith and hope, and he bangs that mental health drum and wants people to know that there's hope on the other side of the anxiety and depression and everything else, if that's stuff you're struggling with. But again, it can start with just learning to love ourselves as we are, faults and all, because, we're this way for a reason. And that to me is amazing.
Absolutely, then. And I think there's a verse in the book of Ephesians in the New Testament where this guy Paul is writing to this group of people, and he says this phrase I can't remember which translation it is, but it's Ephesians 2 verse 10. It says, "You are God's masterpiece."
Yeah.
And I think whenever I struggle with my self-identity, because I've had huge struggles with who I am, especially what I look like, I've had a lot of body image issues, and I still go through it sometimes. But I try and remember that God made me a masterpiece, and he makes you a masterpiece, and that thinking about how much God loves you to make something and craft something so perfect. And so when you're having bad days, when you're having low days or dark days or days where you want to be alone and you want to cut yourself off from the world, just try and remember that God has made you a masterpiece, and every tiny detail was significant to him. And so you should just consider that. Just consider that when you have bad days, because actually God is sitting there on the other side going, well, hey man, I made something great and I want you to appreciate it. So it's hard to accept sometimes, but he did. He's made you great.
Well, if people ask me to self-assess myself, I will always start with my faults. I'll always start with the things that I see that are wrong. And there's a song, who was a song by? It was by one of those Christian ska bands in the 90s. I think it's called Weeds. Maybe OC Supertones did it, something like that. But it's called Dandelion is the name of the song. And it just has to do with the fact that, Dandelion's a flower.
Oh, the 5 Iron Frenzy?
5 Iron Frenzy, maybe. Yeah, is that what it is? Okay.
I love 5 Iron Frenzy. We're so old.
Yeah, we are. But it just talks about, we see the weeds in us, but, God sees the flower, and people sees the flower that we are sometimes. And it's just a really neat kind of parallel that it gives. But regardless, when other people look at you, they don't see what you see. We're always more critical on ourselves. So, again, learn to love you like God loves you, because God made you perfect. He made you as his masterpiece, and be encouraged in that. So, yeah. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have a fun video to share as well. What was that?
Go on.
Hey, Livy, what was that Catherine Tate Tennant video on? It was that comic relief of some kind?
Oh, was it the Big Night In, I think? Was it the Big Night In?
Was it the Big Night In? Was that what was on? Oh, it was the Big Night In. Okay, so they joined together to raise money for charity. You may have seen this, but I came across it, and I think it's hilarious, so let me go ahead and play it right here. It's Catherine Tate and David Tennant, they were, of course, the doctor and the Dr. Donna kind of for a while as well, but
so good.
They work so well together. Here you go.
So good.
Morning, Lauren. Glad you could finally make the time for your one-to-one tutor session.
All right.
It was scheduled to start 20 minutes ago.
Was it actually?
Yes, actually, it was actually, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was doing my TikToks, innit?
What was?
My TikTok, sir. I'm TikTok famous.
Right. Well, I've been sat here waiting for you, so.
I knew you were waiting for me.
Good for you. Right, now, if I could turn your attention towards your self-assessment reflection, yeah?
You're standing too close.
Excuse me?
You're standing too close to your computer, sir. You've got to stand 2 meters away, otherwise you could infect me with the virus.
Don't be ridiculous.
Social distancing, sir. You could be asymptomatic.
I am not asymptomatic.
How do you know? Is your name Chris Whitty? Are you Chris Whitty, sir? Are you Chris Whitty, though? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question, sir? I just want to ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Are you, or have you ever been a doctor?
No.
Are you a member of the WHO?
I'm not a doctor, but I do know you cannot catch a virus through a computer.
Computer virus. Follow the science.
That's not the same thing, and you know it.
I ain't taking no chances.
Take that off, Lauren.
Droplets, innit?
Lauren.
This isn't for me. It's for you, sir.
Take it off, please.
I'm protecting you.
I don't need protecting.
Yeah, 'cause you're old, sir.
I am 45 years old.
Yeah, that's well old, sir.
Okay.
You're vulnerable, sir.
I'm not vulnerable.
Did they let you shop early at Sainsbury's?
No.
Because of your underlying condition.
I don't have any underlying conditions.
You're Scottish, sir.
Being Scottish is not an underlying condition.
The virus don't respect borders, sir. Your kilt cannot protect you.
Right, I know what you're trying to do, Lauren.
Are your grandchildren forced to sing happy birthday outside your window?
I don't have grandchildren.
Do you press your hand against a glass to say hello?
That's not funny, Lauren.
No, sir, but it's the new normal.
Enough. Your grades, Lauren, are headed on a downward trajectory.
Just trying to flatten the curve, innit?
Your tedious commitment to belligerence is stunning.
Thank you.
I know this is all a big game to you, Lauren. I get that. But I have to tell you right now, if you do not turn this attitude around, start to focus properly on your education from now on, you will get no exams. You will have very few options and an even bleaker future. Oh, here it comes.
Fair enough.
What?
You make a valid point.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And you agree with me?
Yeah, I know I've got to turn things around, sir. I've had a lot of time to think during lockdown. A global pandemic can really focus your mind. I've got to stop messing about, innit? I don't want to look back and think I didn't fulfil my potential. I want to make something of my life. Because if not now, sir, then when?
What? Wow, I'm shocked. But I'm so glad to hear you talking like this, Lauren. I never thought anyone was going to be able to get through to you, but you're exactly right. Because you have potential, Lauren, you really do. You are so bright and imaginative, and if you could set your mind to it, you could achieve great things. I really believe in you, Lauren.
Am I bothered? Am I bothered though? I ain't even bothered.
You should
Do you
be.
think I'm bothered about exams? I don't care about exams, sir. Look at my face mask. Please. Is my face mask bothered?
Lauren.
My face mask ain't even bothered, sir. It's got all the hand sanitizer. I
can't
don't
tell.
care. Have you been buying all the toilet rolls?
Toilet
I don't
rolls?
care because I ain't even bothered. I'm bothered about TikTok, sir. I don't care
that?
about exams.
Tic Tacs?
You can't get famous with a Tic Tac, sir. That's a breath mint. We could go viral like the virus.
That's not appropriate.
Do a TikTok with me, sir.
No.
I could make you TikTok famous,
Lauren,
though.
I am not doing a TikTok with you.
Classic. Come on, that one's gonna live forever. I love those two.
Oh man, they were such a good partnership on Doctor Who, man. They were so good.
Yeah, they were. I just can't believe how she gets into that. I mean, she's amazing. Yeah, I love Catherine Tate. Can I ask you a question, sir? I can't do English or whatever she was doing. So what accent would that be that she's doing, Davey, to the American?
She's doing quite an Essexy accent, so
Okay.
it's around here. Like it's probably a little bit more, maybe East London-y as well. Yeah, it's around here though.
The only way is Essex, right? Is that a?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, I do live in Essex, but I'm going to claim the northernmost point of Essex, where we're just about Suffolk. I'm not sure we even still class as Essex anymore, even though we're just on the border. So I'll escape.
I'm gonna ignore my birth certificate and claim my passport. So I'm gonna tell everyone I'm a Kiwi still.
Do you have dual citizenship, or are you still?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So you can hold up both of them and be like, secret agent. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I do. Whenever I walk through the airport, I go, which one am I using? Which one am I using? This one today.
That's what my kids have. So whenever they would fly here, they would just use their British one because it's easier. They go back to the States, they use their American one because then there's less questions, less hassle. You get in the shorter lines.
Way to do it.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. So if you're a dual citizen, I don't have that. So I have to go in the long lines and get hassled for 5 hours by border security. It was tough when my family was here and I was making my visa, fell through, and it took me 2.5 years to get in the country. I was flying in and out so frequently that every time I'd come in, I would get held for typically around 4 to 5 hours because they need to check why. They're making my smuggling stuff. Am I within the time frame of when you can be allowed in the country as an outsider? And I was always making sure you can be in the country for 6 months in any 12-month period. So as long as I was less than 6 months in any 12-month period, I was okay. So I'd always come for about 2.5 months and go back to the States for 3. And that way I was never going to be in the country for more than my time frame. But still, like, I'd get hassled so often, like every single time. And I mean, there's even like, they even told me I could be deported. Like, we could just send you around if we don't like the way things are looking. And, but what one person said to me, one of these customs officials, he's like, you know what, if your wife was French, so if my English wife, who's English, if she was French, there would be nothing they could do or say to stop me at the border coming into the country. But because she was English, they could hassle all the out of me. They could do whatever they. Yeah, just a bit odd. I don't know.
That sounds terrible, mate. I've never had that because I just show the right passport and then I walk.
You just hold them both up. Which one do you guys want to see? Like,
which one is it? This? Where am I? Which country? This one. It's this one.
Go. Awesome, man. Well, I don't really have much else. And again, we just really wanted to get on and just try to touch base with everybody because we don't want to miss this. We know it's just a weekly chance to connect in some small way and have a little bit of fun. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Any good parting words of wisdom, sage advice from Sir Davey?
Let's see how wise I can be today. Hey guys, just continue to keep working hard. If you've got schoolwork or college work that you're doing, make sure you're still doing it, man. I mean, it's so much better just to get it done. I always found, the whole way through my education, I always found it was just easier just to get the stuff done and I could relax afterwards. It's easier than getting told not that I'm late or that things aren't going well, or, I just found it so much easier just to get stuff done. And just try and connect with the people you are living with as well. So spend a bit of time with your parents, with your brothers and sisters, with whoever's in your bubble, and make sure that you guys are, having a positive relationship and growing together and learning stuff together if you can as well. But most of all, like all the stuff we've talked about today, look after your mental health. If there's someone you need to talk to, Sean and I are both available. You can contact us through our churches or through our email addresses or through Youth Remixed as well. Make sure you are looking after your mental health at a time of this because it is still tough and we totally appreciate that. And some of you, it's a win if you get out of bed, and guys, you are doing fantastically surviving this. So make sure you talk to someone if you need to. We are available. Talk to your parents. But yeah, stay safe. That's most of what I want to say, I think. What about you?
Awesome, man. I'm going to follow up on that. You said just, get stuff done. And one thing that my kids do sometimes is they'll sit to do their homework and they'll spend the first 30 or 45 minutes just complaining about it. And I'm like, look, if you just would have got after this, you'd be done and doing something fun now. So on the whole getting stuff done, if you just get after it. Just get after it. You get it done. You get the boring stuff out of the way. But yeah, for those that are struggling a little bit as well, again, that chat now, just go to chatnow.org. You can talk to people instantly. There's so much good material on there. If you have questions about stuff, you can find the questions first without needing to talk to someone, but then you can talk completely anonymously to somebody. If you want to be not so anonymous, send us a message. Again, at Youth Remixed, email us, find us. There's ways to connect through all our social media that we have out there. Just leave comments if you want us to get a hold of you. So please take advantage of the fact that people want to help, and there's a lot of people that care, about what's going on right now, and we're trying to do everything we can to be a part of that. And then I did want to read that verse you mentioned because it's one of my favorites in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. It says, For we are God's masterpiece. Guys, you are God's masterpiece. He created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago. God has a plan for your life. He's authored your life, and he made you perfect for the situation that you're in. You are his masterpiece. And what's masterpiece mean, Davey?
Oh, masterpiece is like the pinnacle, isn't it? So people talk about, Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, and they say that is his masterpiece. It's the greatest portrait anyone's ever done. And he also, the Michelangelo sculpture of David, that big regal statue, which I've actually seen. I don't know if you've seen it. We went to Florence once and we saw it. It's enormous. And that is considered to be the ultimate, and it's a masterpiece. And that's what you are. You are the pinnacle of God's creation. How cool is that?
That's cool. That's really cool. So guys, just take that to heart. Like Zachary Levi said, love yourself because God made you as his masterpiece. And you got to start by looking at what God said. You know what? I'm okay with this because God's okay with this. And God will use me the way that I am because I am made perfect the way he wanted me. And so just be encouraged in that, guys. Davey, I love you, man. So thanks for joining us today.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah,
I missed you.
I know. It's just so far away and we can't hug and touch, even just poke fingers at each other.
One day, man, they're gonna relax these laws, and I'm gonna hug everyone. I don't know whether I'll be allowed to, but
and
ask for consent first.
Be bailing Davey out of jail, possibly for hugging the wrong person. Okay, you know.
That is worth it, isn't it? No, ask for consent first, but then after that, hugging.
Yeah. Then after that, hugging. All right, we're gonna go out with some theme music because theme music is always fun. So dance. So guys, we love you. Get a hold of us if you need to, and thanks for tuning in today.
Awesome. See you later, guys.
Oh, I gotta unmute it if I want music.
Ooh.
Unmute it. There we go.
There it is.
Listen for a minute. I like it.